with great virtues of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful on our will to teach us how to be suffering, attain bliss and birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma, in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and maintain it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the best comes true from me. Wu Shang 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 Wei Miao Ba Ran Jin Wan Jin An Zhang Yi Lo Jin Jian Wen Da Shou Shi Yin Zhi Ru Lai Zhe Shi Yi. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Sixth Patriarch, Venerable Shenhua, Shamini, all good advisors of the Doho. 诸佛菩萨、六祖、师父、上人、沙弥尼各位上智士阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Lục Tổ và Thượng Tiên Hóa, sư cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Today is August the 5th, 2012. We are here in Rosemead, California, to lecture on the Vajra Sutra. We are on slide number 257. The sutra is talking about the state of the Arhats. So the Buddha started talking, telling Subhuti, asking Subhuti about the Arhats, first stage through fourth stage. Last week we started talking about, explaining about the first stage Arhats. Okay? And he said that the Arhats, the first stage Arhats, are the one who are called the stream enterer, meaning that they enter the stream of the sages. What is the stream of the sages like? How do you know when you enter? You enter, when you enter, then you are impervious to the six deaths. Okay, do I need to? Oh, I need to translate in Vietnamese for kinh nghiệm. Okay. Tuần trước mình bắt đầu giảng cái phần kim cang là phần quan trọng. Mình bắt đầu giảng về cái cảnh giới của các vị A-la-hán. Thì tuần trước chúng ta bắt đầu giảng về cái phần mà Đức Phật nói rằng là cái sơ quả A-la-hán ra sao. Thì thì chúng ta bắt đầu hiểu rằng là cái sơ quả A-la-hán gọi là nhập lưu, với nhập thánh lưu. Nhập thánh lưu là sao? Nhập thánh lưu thì một cái cảnh giới Khi quý vị nhập được thánh hưu thì lúc đó quý vị sẽ không còn bị cái lục trần chi phối. Nói cách khác, nhìn cái con người mỹ miệng đẹp trai, tâm hoàn toàn không. Đây là một cái ví dụ một cái người sơ quả. An example, one simple example of the first stage Arhat is that when you're first stage Arhat, you look at a pretty woman or handsome man, your mind doesn't move because the form no longer affects you. You look at food, you no longer strike the desire for food. You know, okay. You look up. You listen to the music, and you are unperturbed by wonderful, beautifully composed music. Okay, so that's the state of first stage of art. Ví dụ cái gì, quý vị thấy đồ ăn ngon lành, tâm không động, không tham, không thèm, hoặc là quý vị nghe một cái âm nhạc rất là tuyệt vời, rất là hay, nhưng cái tâm cũng là không động, trơ ngoài là thánh được, ngoài cái sơ quả. Meaning when the wisdom, it's called the stagehood of wisdom, in that you are not affected by the outside. The external world can no longer affect you. Quý vị biết không? Cái tuyệt vời của cái cảnh giới nó gọi là cảnh giới của cái thánh nhân là tại sao? Bên tiểu thừa nó gọi là thánh nhân. Tại vì cảnh giới trong cảnh giới này đó, con người thánh nhân này hoàn toàn không còn bị cái thế giới bên ngoài nó lung lạc nữa. That is called wisdom. They are no longer confused by the external world. What do you think? Would you agree this is the inconceivable state? Quý vị đồng ý thì không phải dễ làm. It's very difficult, isn't it?
I think it's a conceivable state.
Yeah.
Not inconceivable, it's conceivable.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I can do it.
Yeah, not many people can do it. That's why they consider it to be stages, because not many people can do it. Thánh nhân tại không bao nhiêu người làm được. Okay. So we are back on slide 257. The Buddha asked Subhuti if a Shrota-appana, meaning the first stage Arhat, can have a thought that he or she has obtained the fruit of Shrota-appana. Okay, and Subhuti's immediate reply was that that's impossible. A Shrota-appana cannot have such a thought. Even though this Shrota-appana, the first stage Arhat, is the one that is called the one who has entered the flow, actually, he has entered nothing. The eye sees form. When the eye sees form and is turned by a form that is meant by entering form. Okay. Thì Đức Phật mới hỏi ngài Tu Bồ Đề là người sơ quả là hán, có cái tư tưởng là mình đã đắc được cái sơ quả là hán chăng? Thì ngài sư Tu Bồ Đề trả lời làm sao mà có được cái tư tưởng như vậy? Mặc dù cái người sơ quả là hán là người đã nhập lưu, nhưng thì cái chữ nhập này á, là không có nhập vào cái gì hết. Tại vì nếu như con mắt mà nhìn sắc mà để cái sắc nó chuyển mình thì cái đó là mình gọi là bị nhập vào cái sắc. As I just explained, the first stage Arhat, who has certified to such a fruition, is no longer turned by the six dusts. Như thầy mới nói bây giờ là cái người sơ quả La Hán mà được đắc chứng đắc cái quả đó thì không còn bị cái lục trần nó chuyển. Therefore, at that state, you can see form, and you are no longer confused by form. That's why it's called stagehood. Người được cảnh giới đó thì cái người thấy sắc, thấy cái hình dáng, thấy cái đẹp, thấy cái xấu, không còn bị cái sắc cái chuyển mới gọi là thánh nhân, mới gọi là có trí huệ. Similarly, the remaining five dusts, you can perceive sounds, smells, tastes, tangible objects, and dharma, and not be attached at all. Tương tự như vậy, năm cái trần còn lại là thánh, cái hương, cái vị, và cái xúc và cái pháp đều không bị chấp vào những cái đó hết, mới mà thực sự là thánh nhân. Any questions about this? We on slide 258. Shrotapana is basically a name. It's not referring to a substance. It's not an actual substance. Cái tên sơ quả A-la-hán, cái danh từ sơ quả A-la-hán chỉ nói về cái tên thôi, chứ không phải là nói về cái thể. Actually, this person really enters nothing. Không có thiệt ra không nhập cái gì hết. There's an enter. You enter the six dusts because of the existence of consciousness between your sense organs and the six dusts. Nói cho rõ ràng, this is very important for you to understand this. This is why the Buddha is so precise in his teaching. He says the reason that you enter the six dusts is because you allow the existence of consciousness. Okay, there's the consciousness. Đức Phật dạy rất là tuyệt vời, dạy một cách rất là chính xác. Thầy nói rằng chúng ta nhập, có chữ nhập, có trạng thái là nhập tục trần, là tại vì có cái sự hiện diện của cái thức. Okay. To say not enter means that emotions and consciousness are both empty. Thầy nói mà không nhập vào cái lục trần, có nghĩa là nói rằng là những cái tình cảm và những cái thức nó đều là nó biến thành không rồi. Meaning that you're able to empty both your emotions and your consciousness. Quý vị có thể khiến cái tình, cái thức trở thành không. So the actual word in the sutra says, call is just a name, a false name, just another mark. Thành ra cái phần này khi mình nói về cái danh từ sơ quả là hán, đó chỉ là một cái tướng thôi, một cái danh hiệu thôi. And so it's called, the word called is used for all the four fruitions to designate that simply this is a mark, a false mark. Cái chữ danh từ này, ví dụ danh là gọi, cái danh từ chỉ là một cái chữ thôi, không có, nó chỉ là một cái giả tướng thôi, không cần phải chất vào. Đây là áp dụng cho 4 cái quả của A-la-hán trong cái kinh. At this state of first stage Arhatship, the mind has severed coarse and heavy afflictions. Cái người sơ quả A-la-hán đã đoạn được cái loại phiền não thô thiện và nó nặng nề là thô và trọng. Okay? Any questions about this? Do you realize that you will not find this kind of explanation anywhere in English? With what we just explained to you in Shrotapana? Nor Vietnamese, as far as I know. Quý vị biết không? Không có cái phần giải thích là tiếng Anh và tiếng Việt theo thầy viết về cái quả vị. And you just heard it last week or this week. Thì mới nghe cái chuyện kinh thi này. You just heard of something that is earth shattering. You just escape. just escape from friction. You just reach the sage grounds. Okay. Thì vào với cảnh giới của cái thánh nhân. Any questions about this? That's why I'm watching who's coming in the last week and this week. You see what kind of roots you have. And thầy coi là ai là tới tuần trước cái tuần này. Cái lời căn của chị đến chừng nào. Because I assure you that I could not find such description what I just talked to you about. Tại vì thầy cam đoan cái gì thầy tu, thầy kiếm được cái lời giải thích. Okay. So what you just did from showing up this week, last week and this week is that you allow me to explain something that hasn't been explained in English or Vietnamese as far as I know. Okay. You are extremely generous. Kudos to you. Slide 259. Shibhuti, what do you think? Can a Sakridagaman have the thought, I have obtained the fruit of Sakridagaman? Shibhuti said, noble honorable. And why? A Sakridagaman means one who returns once more. For that reason, he is called Sakridagaman. Sư Bụt Thị,语意云何？是多寒，能作是念，我得是多寒，我不。是不敌也，不也。世尊，何以故？是多寒名以往来，而实无往来，是名是多寒。Sư Bồ Đề ý ông là sao? Tư Đà Hàm có thể đắc liệt, ta đắc quả Tư Đà Hàm chăng? Sư Bồ Đề thưa, bẩm Thế Tôn không. Tại vì sao? Tư Đà Hàm gọi là nhất vãng lai, mà thật vô vãng lai nên gọi là Tư Đà Hàm. We on slide 262. Câu 262. The first stage Arhat. Once you reach the first stage Arhat, I met such a man, such a monk. When I first started, his name is Bhante Dhammavajra. He is a Cambodian monk. Thầy đã từng gặp một cái vị sơ quả La Hán rồi. Lúc mình mới vào tu đó, gặp ngài sơ quả La Hán. Okay, very interesting. Ngài tên là Bhante gọi là thầy Dhammavajra, một người thầy Campuchia. He is, as you know, you can tell by the name that he is a Hinayana monk. He's very senior seated. Đây một cái vị, cái tên đây quý vị thấy một cái vị thầy tu sĩ tu theo tiểu thừa người Campuchia. So he went to Thailand. He was a head of full life until his like 30s, and then he left the whole life and became a monk. Hình như là ngài đó là ngài lúc sống ngài làm ngoại tục trong tới tuổi 32 tới 32 tuổi rồi mới xuất gia. Thì khi xuất gia rồi mới qua bên Thái Lan tu trong chùa Thái Lan. So he went to Thailand to learn his trade. Okay, and he says that during his practices, they have this practice of he learned how to make tents. Okay, so he would, according to their tradition, he traveled into the boonies and he set up a tent and stayed there. And then he would go to town to make for food and then come back. And he keeps on moving like that. So he said he's by the tradition of the Hinayana monks, he traveled around. And now, as you can imagine, when you travel that much, you will encounter a lot of different beings. Vì biết không, khi mà quý vị mà cái truyền thống lúc trước mà các thầy mà đi mà hành thất như vậy thì gặp nhiều chuyện, rất là nhiều chuyện. I remember driving to see someone in the Fresno Stockton area. Thầy nhớ last year, năm ngoái, lái chiếc xe đi cái vùng Stockton, Fresno, and I went through different areas where actually living beings respond to you. Rồi lúc mà thầy đi vậy, thầy để ý thấy chúng sanh cái vùng đó, nó có cái phản ứng. Because when we go through them, we're disturbing them. You buy that? Okay, we're disturbing the peace. Mình đi ngang như vậy, mình đang sao dao động tụi nó. Okay. For example, I remember going through this area near Fresno, past Fresno, and all of a sudden the beings there became so alarmed. They came out and they said, "Oh, he's coming! We should be on our toes." Nó thấy mình đi ngang thì nó nói là sắp đi tới đó, mình phải chuẩn bị, mình phải lực sự, mình phải cung nghiêm chào họ để cho nó đàng hoàng. Okay, so the beings who are, their territories, when you cross territories, they are affected. Nó có từng cái khu vực. Là khi mỗi người có cái định hướng khác nhau, mình đi ngang qua như vậy thì mình dám động sao. Okay. So this first stage Arhat here, he says he was telling me that he would go to the in the forest areas and he would set up a tent and then he would walk distances to the nearest village to beg for food and come back. And he says that he noticed that, for example, he says that in one particular area, village, who he was told that is infested by, it has a vicious tiger, meaning this tiger attacks the villagers. So the villagers warn him that you have to be careful, master, because this tiger is very vicious. He's known to attack us and kill us and feed on us. And so the venerable Bhante Dhammavara, believe it or not, Prabhupada, he said, I was walking towards the village, and at one time I turned back, I looked at it, and when I backtracked after my arms swelled, I backtracked. I noticed that there is a footprint. What looks like a tiger's footprint right next to mine, going in the direction of the village. That's what it is like. Or he would say that at night he would saw a woman coming to his tent. She would appear in front of the tent, walking, came up to where he was sleeping, lying down, and then she looked at him for a long time, and then walked away. And then he would wake up. And then the next day, he would go into the village and say, "Oh, we have some kind of ghost who's been killing our children and our people and feeding on them. It's probably a Rakshasa ghost, a female ghost, very pretty, and they prey on people, they kill, they see you, they can kill you." So Venerable Bhante Dhammavara said, that's a nice thing about cultivation. When you appear and you keep precepts, they will not harm you. Even the tigers, even the ghosts will not harm you. Isn't that fascinating? Quý vị thấy chuyện tươi lắm, là Ngài Đạt Ma Qua Ra, Ngài mới kể, Ngài nói 32 tuổi xuất gia, rồi qua bên Thái Lan học cái nghề, học cái pháp tu, rồi Thái Lan họ đi khất hành. Họ có một cái kỹ thuật mà làm với với cái dù để nước nó không bị ướt, khi mưa nó bị ướt, rồi đi cắm dù lên, đổ cái dù lên như vậy, ở trong cái tent như vậy. Thì đi trong cái vùng thô giả thì dùng cái dù lên cắm trại như vậy, xong rồi ban ngày thì đi bộ tới làng khất thực, xong đi bộ về lại. Thì đi xa như này cái vị nhé, đi xa như vậy gặp đụng chạm rất là nhiều, đi lai là đụng chạm chúng sanh rất là nhiều. Thành ra một lần mà ngài kể một lần tới cái làng kia là ta nói là thì bây giờ có một con cọp nó dữ lắm, nó chưa muốn ăn thịt dân lại. Nên ngài bạn tê nghe kể là phải đi về thấy trên đường đi tới phải có chân cọp nó đi cùng hướng đi lên thế là thằng cọp nó nằm lơ, nó tha. Rồi có một cái chỗ khác cũng kể là bên đêm có một mơ ràng mình thấy có một cái bà kia mở cửa cái dù và cái tent của bà ngồi bên cạnh cái giường, nhìn nó chậm chậm, nhìn lâu thiệt là xong bỏ đi. Rồi sáng lại và làm thì dân làm mới kể rằng là có một cái con ma nữ, con quỷ nữ đó, nó chuyên môn nó ăn thịt con nít, ăn thịt dân chúng được này. Nó bắt cóc đứa ăn thịt trời. Nó đặt mau ra nó tha nó làm tiền. Thì ra nó đứng ngồi nó canh vô ngủ để không ai làm gì. Thành ra cái ngài đạo Phật ra mới dạy cho thầy biết là nói cái con biết nói khi mình tu đàng hoàng, giữ giới đàng hoàng, chúng sanh nó còn súc sanh này nó quỷ thần nó phá mình đâu, nó tới nó bỏ về nó giúp đỡ. So the point here is that you cultivate, you keep precept, you're serious about your cultivation. The animals and the ghosts and spirits will come and support, will not cause you problems. Okay. Any questions about that? I don't want you to help. Okay. So I was attendant, actually when Yin Yap was the primary attendant, I was simply the assistant attendant. So as a story of my life, I'm always second string in everything I do. Doing second string to Master Shema disciples as well. Never mind. It makes you humble. You will know about it. You're always second citizen, like here in this country. Second string to Master Shema disciple. Second string attendant to Miram Dharma Wara. See, I always learned. I went to Long Beach Monastery. I was second string as well, because I was not first string to take care of the shamis. I was only helping the people who take care of the shamis. So that's a story in my life. Second string, master second string. Okay, that's my nickname. So my Dharma brother, who is Go Fong, was a primary attendant of Dharma Wara. So I came to assist him. You know why? Because he could hardly move. He was in a wheelchair. So we have to help him in and out of the bathrooms or take a shower. We need to help him. So he would lift him, bring him to the bathtub and wash it. Okay? And one time I helped him. I said, why do you need him? Yeah, this is a tiny monk. It's about the same size as Kim Din in height. Okay? Or Roberta. Short feet, very short feet. Okay. This monk is 120 years old by the way. 107 when I was there. I first met him, he was 107. Okay, so I said, why would you need help to lift a monk who's 100, who's about, even shorter than Kim Deer? Now I come to think, I'm kidding. There are very few people who are shorter than Kim Deer or Roberta, as I know.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So anyway, this is a monk about the same size as Roberta. And then I said, why would you need help to lift such a monk? And so he said, oh, I need help. Okay, so he said, I take one side, he says, Wu Feng says, I lift on one side, you go the other side. So I went, oh yeah, it's not a problem. I can do it myself. You just give it to me. So I went to the other side. You know, I tried to lift it. His weighs about 2 tons.
200?
Well, seems like 2 tons. I exaggerated, especially after a good lunch.
Oh, it looks like the Buddha statues?
It is extremely heavy. You can break your back trying to lift it. Amazingly, guys. It's amazing. He's at least a few hundred pounds.
Is he fat?
He's a tiny thing, about the same size as Roberta. You know, you add another 5 pounds for all the jewelry and the clothing. It's not that big of a deal. And yet this guy is so heavy. It's like you lifting a block of stone. It's amazing. Okay? And this, I describe it to you because this is real for real, because this guy's in England. He couldn't stop. Quý vị biết không? Người thầy Đạt Ma Vajra này, lúc ngài còn sống, thầy gặp 107 tuổi. Ngài nằm như cái tảng đá vậy, dễ sợ. Người chút xíu, người chút lì, người to bằng cái cô kim tiền thôi. Mà nó nằm như cái tảng đá, nằm kinh khủng. Đẩy một mình nhấc lên nổi, I could tell you I could not lift him by myself. Okay, and after I lifted him with the Wolfong, I had back problems. It was so heavy, it really crunches all my vertebrae on my spine. He's that crazy. Okay, that's the state of first stage Arhat. And one time. We took him to my late father drove him to the Kim Sơn Tự in San Jose, in the outside San Jose. Nên là thầy thì chở ông từ vào thành đi tới cái Kim Sơn, tu viện Kim Sơn ở ngoài gần San Jose, and lái về lại. So they went there and they welcomed him and they made a lot of offerings to him. Okay, and then they drove back. Chở tới để nhận cúng dường xong về lại. So it's a long trip for an old man who's in England. Đi đường hơi xa. Okay, we're talking about 4 hours drive, 4 or 5 hours drive. Okay, for him. And so it was very rough. So when he came back, he was very tired. So he was sleeping in his room. He has his own room in a city of 10,000 Buddhists at that time. He was a resident there for a few months, and he was snoring like crazy. He was so tired. He was like I do when I sleep. Tại lúc đó lái xe, yeah, you too, I know. Rồi lái xe đi tới tu viện Kim Sơn như vậy, từ vào thành tới tu viện Kim Sơn là tốn khoảng 4 tiếng đồng hồ. Là good day of nature, tội nghiệp. Không tới giúp chúng sanh thôi, chứ không phải tới để ham tiền. Thành để tới của tới như vậy, mấy cái tu viện như vậy, người Việt Nam thích ở cúng dường. Những cái tiếng người thánh nhân đó, thánh nhiều. Trở về là như vậy, thì cũng có cái phòng riêng ở trong vòng thành, hồi đó ở vòng thành vài tháng. Phương Trường mời thì ông mệt quá, ông ngủ ngáy khò, ngáy dễ sợ, ngáy như là những cái trống. And so he was snoring, so I walked by. Okay, I walked by, I noticed, that guy is so strange, he's snoring. So I was curious. I said, is he sleeping or is he lying down? Nó thầy tò mò, thầy nói, không biết ông thầy sơ quả này, ông là ngủ nằm hay ngủ ngồi. mình mở cửa mình hé vào mình coi thử. So I saw him lying down in his bed. Nói, vào thì thấy ông thánh nhân ông nằm ngủ, cái miệng mở ra, ông ngáy. It's funny, you know why? I walked in. At that point in time, it was very clear to me, okay, that I saw a body sleeping. Okay, thấy rõ ràng một cái thân, một cái người tỳ kheo già đang nằm ngủ, ngáy khò khò, snoring away, and yet I was aware of the presence of some kind of invisible presence. His presence, like he's watching me in his sleep. And cái chuyện thầy rõ, it's very clear. I know that he's watching me in my sleep. It's very clear. So I said, Better behave, ngộ tớ, better behave because he's watching you. thành ra lúc mà thầy vào như vậy, cái phòng như vậy, mặc dầu thấy cái thân của người tỳ kheo già nó ngáy khò ngủ, đi ra vẫn ấn tượng rất rõ ràng. Có một người ông đang nhìn mình, ông mới quay. Thành vừa ngủ mà cái thức vẫn còn tỉnh. So you're talking about a guy who's asleep physically, and yet his consciousness is still aware of what's going on around. So he basically told me to behave myself, not do anything stupid, like steal things that belong to him. Hồi đó nhắc cho biết là tao còn biết chứ không phải tự tử là ngủ là muốn vào cái cấp độ là tao bậy tao bạ tao không biết đâu. So he gave me respect for first stage arhats. Nó thầy mới nể mấy sơ quả. I truly have respect for that. You know what? I almost quit the TTB to go surfing. Hồi đó thầy tham rồi, thầy nói sơ quả là hám ngon lành quá. Thôi mình bỏ cái phàm thành đi theo ông để phục vụ cho ông. I nearly quit the CTT to go surfing. That's how crazy I was. Because I realized first stage Arhat is such a big deal. Master Shreyama said so. Master Shreyama said the first stage Arhat is so wise. You have no idea how wise they are. Ngài Thiên Hóa miệng đích thân ngài nói là người sơ quả là hán trí huệ tuyệt vời. Quý vị không có thể tưởng tượng được cái trí huệ của người sơ quả là hán. Yes.
Yeah, but would he have really had any teaching to help you become first stage Arhat?
I didn't care.
At the time, yeah.
I didn't care at the time. I said, you know, if you are sage, I go with you. That's all I care about. I was self-serving. I wasn't serving him. I was serving myself. Sounds familiar? Yeah. Me. I convinced myself I wanted to abandon in CTTB to go serve this first stage Arhat. Actually, it's to serve me, serve my needs. How petty I was. I know about pettiness, okay? Yes?
I remember a while back you were talking about fourth stage Arhats. And I think somewhere comment like, that's not such a big deal. And then today you're talking about first stage Arhat. That's a big deal.
Yes, it is a big deal. I'm relating to you my state of mind back then. It was such a big deal. Trust me. When you look around, you see a bunch of idiots. You say, wow, there must be some kind of sage somewhere I can learn from. And this is the only sage I could find was this guy, Dharma Vajra, Bhante Dharma Vajra. So I said, I'm going to go. Naturally, because it's better for me. It is a big deal, trust me. He's like I was told he's like a pope. Because like Arhats, they would come, all the Thai people, the Thai tradition, monks and nuns, they would come and they homage him, they come make offerings to him. You realize? Just like the Pope. You come to seek his advice. It's a very big deal, trust me. Very, very big deal in our world. Nói cái việc biết, hồi đó là thầy suýt bỏ vào người thành để đi theo này sơ quả là hán này, tại vì nhìn quanh thấy không có cái gì mà hay hết, là nghe nói một vị thánh nhân sơ quả là hán tính chạy theo để mà học, để mình mang danh mình phục vụ cho ngài, thì ra mình phục vụ cho mình. Cậu thầy thôi. Okay. And then he lived to be, he said, amazing, because no one cares for me. Từ bữa cái ngày Đạt Ma Ra nói là tôi sắp đi rồi, không ai muốn tôi. You see, you remember, a teacher stays in the world because he's requested, because people come and invite him to stay in the world and say, please stay in the world, please teach us. Okay? Thì như quý vị biết, ngài Đạt Ma Ra tính bỏ đi, thầy nói rằng là không ai muốn tạo nên. Okay, so he said, I'm reading. Okay, because people are neglected. People look at me as an invalid. Tụi bay nhìn ra là cái người bị què, bị tật nguyền, thầy không muốn, không còn đói hoài nữa, thành ra bỏ đi. So he says, I'm an invalid, so therefore people don't pay attention to me anymore. People, don't take care of me anymore, respect me anymore. Therefore I'm leaving. Okay? And then so the other monks and nuns hear about it. They come to the conference, and then he stayed on for another a number of years. He didn't die anything like that. I think he was 100 and maybe 12 years or 16 years or something like years old. And he died. He stayed on a little bit longer. Thành ra sau khi mà mấy thầy mấy cô nghe như vậy, mấy thầy mới lập đợt tới năn nỉ là ngài ở lại, với lại cúng dường cho ngài ở thêm, ngài sống thêm tới từ 112 tuổi, 115 tuổi thành chết. Okay. And he says, he tells me, he says that I really don't want to stay here anymore. Ngài mới nói thiệt ra ở đây thầy em thích ở đây because my heavenly palace is waiting for me. Ngài nói là cái lâu đài trên trời đang đợi ta. He said, I have a heavenly palace ready, waiting for me. Nó sẵn sàng. You know? Has been built already, Kim Deer. Don't look at me like that. You don't need to do anything. It's just move in. Move in ready. Okay? Ngài nói là dọn nó sẵn sàng hết rồi. Okay? In heavens. So, this first stage Arhat, coming back to slide 262. When they die, they have 7 more lives. Okay. Cái ngài sơ của A-la-hán sau khi mình chết là còn sinh 7 lần. So after I'm citing Venerable Vajra to tell you that he went up to the heavens. Ngài lên gọi trời, okay, where he lives in heavenly palace routine. You hear me? Okay. Heavenly palace up there. Okay. It's called heavenly housing. He asked me. Which is much better than government housing. Yes. Far better. Okay. So you die, the first stage Arhat, die and then reborn to the heavens. Người sơ của A-la-hán khi mà chết, các vị đó sẽ sinh vào cõi trời. Okay? And he stays there in the heavenly existence. And then when he's done with heavenly existence, and he goes back to human realm. This is how it happens. Okay? Thành quý vị biết không? Người sơ của A-la-hán, người ta các ngài sinh vào cõi trời, sống đó trong cõi trời. Sau khi mà cõi trời xong rồi, cuộc đời cõi trời xong rồi, mới trở về lại cõi người. So far so good. Okay? Yeah. So that's why you know that Venerable Bhante, when he said I'm leaving, he meant it because he says, what's the point in staying here? This decrepit old body is hurting. I might as well go up there and have fun. I have my heavenly gods waiting for me. Okay, serving me, my servants. Roberta, are you following me? It's not time to sleep because we're talking about Arhats.
I worked so hard the last 2 days at work.
Okay, so the first stage Arhat, they go to the heavens. Anh kể cái gì nghe? Sơ quả A-la-hán đã chết rồi, sinh lên cõi trời, sống lên cõi trời, trên cung điện cõi trời. Xong chết cõi trời xong rồi mới xuống lại cõi người. He comes back to the human realm and lives out human realm. Lifespan, when he dies, he moves up the heavenly palace again. So he does that 7 times. That's what they meant by 7 returns, 7 more births. Thành ra cái vòng nó như vậy là lên cõi trời, sống vào cõi trời, sẽ sinh và xong cõi đời xong rồi sẽ xuống lại cõi nhân gian này, sống cõi nhân gian một đời xong rồi lên lại cõi trời khi mà chết, làm như mà 7 lần luôn, mình mới gọi là thất lai như vậy, là còn trở lại về cái cõi người 7 lần, là cái người sơ quả là. What happened is that at the 7th birth, okay, then he'll become a 4th stage Arhat. It's automatic. So all he does once you reach the 1st stage Arhat, you keep on going up and have fun, and go down, going up and have fun, go down, go up and have fun, go down. 7 times you become 4th stage Arhat, automatically. That's why the 1st stage Arhat is so fantastic. You ask me, you guarantee success. You cannot go wrong anymore. Thành ra cái sơ quả A Hán nó quan trọng như vậy là cái gì là còn lên quả trời rồi xuống lại mọi người mấy lần nữa tứ đồng sẽ thành tứ quả. It's automatic. Yes, it's a miracle. That's kind of miracle you want. Yes.
2 questions. So when they go up and then have fun and come back to birth, they don't forget anything. They're still archons. Like when we come through, we forget everything.
They do. They forget everything, but then they get it back very quickly. It's the nature of the blessings.
And what happened to Arhat level 2 and 3? Or doesn't exist?
So for 7 more times, they go through the cycle of 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, okay.
So, but the most important point here is that they will go through the progression, but they only have to be born 7 more times, and then they're done.
And they don't forget very long. They know they're Arhats.
They are so blessed, John, that when you're born, you become confused, you do stupid things, you scream, you throw tantrums, you don't listen to your mom, you don't listen to your teacher, you yell, you're noisy, you lie, you're disrespectful.
Enough to tell you about my life. Continue.
But it's natural, and then your blessing is so that you encounter a teacher. Thank you very much. We encounter a teacher who says, "Hey boy, wake up!" And you wake up, and you reach 1st stage Arhat, and then you continue cultivation. That's the nature of the blessing. They only temporarily confuse. They're not confused for long. That's the nature of the blessing of the 1st stage Arhat. Okay. So you never know. Maybe he'll become a 1st stage Arhat to himself. You never can tell. Yeah. Or you, for that matter. Quý vị biết không? Câu hỏi là cái người sơ quả La Hán đã bị mê muội như mình. Tôi nói ai cũng bị mê muội, sinh ra mê muội ngay lập tức. Okay. Thì mê muội như vậy, cái mê muội chuyện thông thường đều cái ngày sơ quả La Hán người ta có phước báo lớn qua đến độ mà nó mê muội tạm thời thôi, rồi sau này sẽ gặp được vị thầy, vị trí thức, người ta sẽ dạy ngài và ngài sẽ thức tỉnh ngài. So they get confused, but they will encounter a teacher, a good knowing advisor who will wake them up. Okay. So that's why, as I said, my claim is that there's still hope for the most difficult boys to teach. If you ask me, there's still hope. Okay? You cannot give up on children yet, or people yet. Okay? So far so good? Isn't that cool? That's the blessings of 1st stage Arhat. And cái sơ quả La Hán nó tuyệt vời như vậy. Isn't that beautiful? You guarantee success. Okay? You can goof up. You can go become a Hollywood actor and you still become 1st stage Arhat. That's why I advocate that you too, as long as you're here in this world, try to become 1st stage Arhat. It's a worthwhile goal. Thầy mới chủ trương là cái người mà còn lại thế gian này mình nên phải dốc sức tu thành sơ quả chắc ăn. That's the first form of insurance you can have. Truly good insurance. Truly effective insurance policy. Before that, Quý vị biết đó là cái bảo hiểm mà tốt nhất quý vị sẽ có bây giờ. Ngay bây giờ thành kết quả là mình không tụt lùi, không thể tụt lùi. Okay. So far so good. Now, what is the second fruit? Second fruition, Sakradagama. He returns once more, but once more. Người vị quả A La Hán là chỉ trở lại một lần. Meaning he, after his death, he reached second stage Arhat. But after his death, he moved to the heavens, and then you born in the heavens, and you go back to human realm, and you become fourth stage Arhat. Not this man who once returned. Is it clear?
What happened to third stage?
Hang on. Okay? And then once in the human realm, after he come back and he reborn to the heavens, and he escapes birth and death, he become fourth stage Arhat. Okay. And can he have this thought that the second stage have this thought I have attained the fruit of second stage Arhat? Subhuti says no. That's the answer to the Buddha's name. Same thing, it's just a name. Sakadagami or second stage it's only a name. It's not referring to a substance. Therefore, how can you talk about anything being obtained? Bạn hỏi là có đắc được không thì không có đắc gì hết, tại cái này chỉ là cái danh từ thôi, không có ý nghĩa gì, không nói về cái thực thể. So far so good, same logic, right? We're on slide 264. Years ago, mấy năm trước, lâu. I was at that point, at the time, I was still couldn't understand the Vajra Sutra. Mấy năm trước thầy không hiểu Kinh Kim Cang, thành thầy nói về đọc không hiểu. I read Vajra Sutra a few times. I couldn't get anything. Actually, it bothered me. There's so much contradiction. Who says yes and then no at the same sentence. It bothered me tremendously. Mấy năm trước thầy đọc Kinh Kim Cang khó chịu lắm. Một phần sợ, một phần khó chịu. Tại sao? Đức Phật giảng, xong Đức Phật nói ngược lại ngay lập tức. Thành thầy khó chịu. It bothered me because how could you be talking both sides of the mouth at the same time like that? Logically, it didn't make sense to me. So I couldn't guess. And it remained a mystery. It remained a flaw in my practice, in my understanding of Mahayana. That is very annoying because I realize the Vajra Sutra is a very important sutra in Buddhist teachings. If I don't get the Vajra Sutra, how can I expect to be able to explain sutras? Hồi đó thầy khổ tâm lắm, tại vì tâm mình biết mình không hiểu một kinh Kim Cang, một kinh đại kinh Phật giáo đại thừa, mình hiểu một trăm giảng kinh được. If you don't understand the Vajra Sutra, how can you possibly dare explain sutras? I'm asking you. That's why I felt very apprehensive about this sutra. So I'm not sure Kinh Kim Cang. And when I was cultivating, and I was given a copy from the Buddhist Education Network. Ngày kia, thầy tu, có một cái người kia cho gửi cho tôi một cuốn kinh. It's the Vajra Sutra explained by the sixth patriarch. Kinh Kim Cang, và ngài Lục Tổ giảng kiến tạo của cái Buddhist Education Network. Yeah. The foundation of Buddhist education. That's a very big education that the print sutras, they have a huge budget just to print sutras and give it for free. And I loved it because back then I had no sutra, they had no money. So when you're given free sutras, you enjoy it, you love it. So somehow, someday, they send one to me. the sixth patriarch explanation of the Vajra Sutra in Chinese. Thomas, this is why you need to learn Chinese. Wake up. Okay. There you she is. Okay, she moved up. See? Okay. Thì lúc đó thấy được, lúc đó nghèo quá, mà không có kinh học, mà được những cái chỗ nó gửi tới kinh miễn phí một tiếng Hoa, nó mừng thế sao? I read the sutra, this sutra about this stick, tiny sutra, because the sixth patriarch is a chant master. Ngài Lục Tổ là cái vị thiền sư. In the traditional chant, unlike me, okay, everything that chant master explained is very succinct, very concise. Những người thiền sư tới giảng rất là cô độc, có giảng nhiều chữ. So he explained the sixth patriarch sutra in this much. Okay. Our Vajra Sutra will be the slide we have, the slides alone. We have 800 slides. You print them out, probably even thicker than most sutras explanations already. Okay. Thì vậy cái bản kinh can này mình có 802 cái tấm in ra còn dài hơn một cái chú thích một cái chú thích của kinh, một đa số chú thích của kinh. Alright. So I read the sutra, the sixth patriarch sutra. I loved it because I said, my goodness, maybe I get some hints on how the patriarch sees the Vajra Sutra, would explain the Vajra Sutra. Mừng lắm, tại mình thấy được cơ hội để nhìn có thể Ngài Lục Tổ phải giảng kinh Can là sao? Because I didn't get much out of Master Shenhua's explanation. Tại vì đọc ngài chú thích của ngài Tiên Hoa không hiểu gì hết, thành thật nói dễ hiểu, không hiểu. Okay. So I read it, and then there's a section where the sixth patriarch explained about the state of the second stage Arhats. Từ lúc đó đọc tới cái phần ngài Tiên Hóa, ngài Lục Tổ giảng về cái cảnh giới của ngài, cái cảnh giới của cái nhị quả A La Hán. And I couldn't get it. Đọc không hiểu. I couldn't understand why, you know, that section is about 3 or 4 sentences maximum. Cái phần khúc Tiếng Hoa đó, 3-4 câu. What I mean by Chinese sentence, you know, the Chinese sentence is about yes, very long, so maybe 1 or 2 or 3, something like that. I couldn't get it, so I was scratching my head. What does it mean by that? Well, the guy's been dead for thousands of years now. How am I gonna ask him? Anh vò đầu vào tóc, bứt râu bứt tóc, mình than phiền, tôi nói cái ông Lục Tổ nó phiền ghê đấy. Giảng cách đây cả hơn cả 1000 năm rồi, bây giờ hỏi ông sao hỏi ông bây giờ? I was asking myself, how am I gonna ask him what he means now? Because when they explain it, these are sages. They're supposed to explain it to you. Okay. I read somewhere, I believe somewhere that when sages explain sutras, they make sure that if you have some concern, they will explain it to you. So I said, but I told myself, how am I going to ask him now? See, he's dead. How can I pose a question? Thầy thắc mắc, thầy nói bây giờ ông chết, xong rồi hỏi ông bây giờ. So I was stuck big time for 3 or 4 days. Ngồi vặn óc ra có 3-4 ngày nghỉ. And then I went to the grocery store, the ABC market in Bosa. Mình thấy nó tới đi chợ, đi chợ, tới cái siêu thị ABC. Okay, I still, you know, you'd be proud of your master, because the master, even though he went to the market, remember this dictum, you know, going to the supermarket is also doing charm. Hiểu không? Hồi đó thầy cứ gì ra hành vi với thầy, cái hành động của thầy. Mặc dù nói có câu nói là đi chợ cũng là thiền, hồi đó thầy vừa đi chợ vừa thiền. So I went to the market, I was still thinking about what the heck does he mean by this? It bothers the heck out of me. Thì lúc đó thầy đã đi chợ và thầy thắc mắc là cái câu này nghe là sao? Vừa đi chợ vừa suy nghĩ. I was truly practicing charm. You see? Isn't that impressive? No one even nodding their head. This is terrible. This is so
It's
embarrassing.
impressive.
It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
It's impressive.
Too late. I don't want it anymore. You don't want me, I go to the heavens too.
Hopefully.
Oh, ouch. That hurts. That's a low blow. So, don't translate to Chinese. The Chinese don't need to know everything. You know.
You gotta link up somehow.
It's too embarrassing. You know, something that is better to leave
Yes,
out.
I'm your best follower.
Yeah, it's not good to translate everything in Chinese because they know too much already.
That's what I mean, so they not here.
So I couldn't figure it out. So when the supermarket, I said, "What the heck does he mean by that?" I've been 3 or 4 days now. I still don't get it. I thought it was smart. Mình cứ nghĩ mình thông minh, mình rằng bằng bố này, nó suy nghĩ. And then the sixth patriarch came and explained to me. Đó ngày tổ hiện ra giảng rồi. The way he taught me is so beautiful. It's incredible. Hiện ra, he manifested into an old man. Old tiny man about the same size in the picture there, his picture there, and he explained what is meant by his teaching. And lúc đó ngài Phật tổ mới giảng thầy biết, ok, giảng thầy biết cái ý nghĩa của câu đó. And you know what? It made me so happy. As soon as he explained to me, he said, Eureka! That's what is the second stage. Okay? And I was so excited, and I realized that he came to teach me. Đó thầy sung sướng quá, tại vì cũng hiểu được. Phải hiểu, sung sướng là mình hiểu được cái ý nghĩa của cái lời giảng là ngày phải hiểu được ý thức được ngày từ tới dạy. And I was so happy that I came back. In the same week, I vowed back like several years ago that I would explain the sixth patriarch. The Vajra Sutra. Okay, that I vow to explain the Vajra Sutra and help people understand the Vajra Sutra. Thầy nói thầy là lập những lời nguyện mà thầy sẽ giảng trong tương lai khi hoàn pháp thầy giảng cái kim cang giúp chúng sanh hiểu cái kim cang. In particular, I wanted the sixth patriarch teachings of the Vajra Sutra to be available in English and Vietnamese, which I couldn't find it anywhere. Lúc đó thầy nguyện sẽ dạy dùng lời dạy của ngài Đức Tổ kinh kim cang này cho người tiếng Anh và người tiếng Việt. Tại vì thầy kiếm ra. I didn't bother reading an English explanation, translation that I already know is no good. There's no way that they can translate it. No way. I have to put it flat out right now. There's no way they're going to translate it. No way. You can buy it on Amazon, you would. It's not, it's kind of confusion. Cái việc kiếm cái cuốn sách mà Lục Tổ dạy cái kinh kim cang ở trong Amazon tiếng Anh thì đọc thầy cam đoan vì cái việc sẽ bị lung lạc, nó dẫn trật, nó dựng trật. Okay? So I vow to explain so that the sixth patriarch's teaching is available in English. Accurate teaching is available in English. Nó thành nhiều, giảng cái kinh cang và giảng cái lời giảng, giúp cái lời giảng của ngài Đức Tổ ra để cho người tiếng Anh hiểu, để người Việt Nam hiểu. Okay? And you know what? The sixth patriarch's teaching, the Vajra Sutra, is not the same as Master Shen's teaching. Cái việc biết không? Cái kinh kim cang này của Tổ giảng khác cái kinh cang này tiếng nói. Each patriarch approaches the sutra from different angles. cái vị tổ sư và lần giảng kinh nó có cái cách nhìn khác, cái mục tiêu nó khác. Okay. So I would never tell you what the sixth patriarch taught is something that Venerable Shinwa did not. Cái pháp mà ngài lục tổ dạy truyền ra khỏi thế gian gì thôi, không có cho tiếng Anh, không có cho tiếng Việt. That is why now you understand why now. And then it helped me realize why I had to go to China, to Thailand to learn Chinese and investigate the sutra. Đó thầy mới hiểu, sau thầy mới hiểu tại sao thầy đừng ra biểu chỉ là phải đi học tiếng Tàu để sau này nghiên cứu kinh Hoa, kinh Việt kinh Hoa. Okay? Isn't it fascinating?
Yep.
Okay. I'm tired now. Since there are only 7 of you today, and it's getting smaller and smaller, I'm going to go to the heavens pretty soon.
Oh, man.
Why not? Yeah.
You need to be here at least as long as I'm here.
Master, if we make an honor request for you to stay, will you stay?
No. I'm going to say, so it doesn't apply to me. Okay? I'm no first stage Arhat, and put it that way. It doesn't work for me.
You could be second or third. That's what I'm saying at first, which is still legitimately true.
Okay. So, this second stage Arhat has one more birth. His mind has one more birth and one more extinction. Cái tâm của người nhị quả A-la-hán có một cái sinh và một cái diệt nữa left in his seeds before he becomes, before he's done the person there. Còn một cái sinh, một cái diệt nữa mới hết sinh diệt. There will be no second birth and extinction. Không có cái đề nhị sinh diệt. That is why he's called the one who returns once more. Bởi vì gọi là người, cái người mà sẽ trở lại một lần nữa. So far so good. I assure you, the sixth patriarch teaching is buried in all of this explanation. So nothing is lost. Okay? Don't worry. Don't ask me. Say, what does the sixth patriarch teach you? None of your damn business. Excuse my language. Okay? What he taught me is what he taught me. Okay? All I need to do is make sure his teaching is not lost in my teaching. That's all. That's my job. Okay? Here's what happens. The second phase Arhat is a very interesting state. Cái cảnh giới người nhị quả A-la-hán nó tuyệt vời lắm. Nó là he would strike up a full stop and he can stop. Nghe rõ ràng không? Cái người mà nhị quả A-la-hán cảnh giới tuyệt vời lắm. Ngài có một cái vọng tưởng, Ngài sẽ ngừng lại ngay. He can put a stop and it would not generate a full stop on top of that full stop. Cảnh giới đặc biệt lắm là cái người nhị quả A-la-hán này có một cái vọng tưởng nó khơi lên thì có thể chặn nó lại, không sinh một cái vọng tưởng trên cái vọng tưởng đó. Isn't that incredible? Think about that. One full stop. Một cái vọng tưởng. That's it. And it stops. Like Ru Ching right now, when she falls asleep, she thinks about Joseph. You know, I say, oh, that poor boy, he's not eating enough meat. That's the first full thought. Now, cái bà này, bà nói là cháu tôi tội nghiệp quá. Nó ăn nuôi chùa, nó không ăn thịt thà gì hết. Là cái tư tưởng, vọng tưởng đầu tiên. And then she goes on and said, I told the mother and she would not listen to me. Xong rồi tiếp tục cái tư tưởng nhiều quá. Tôi đã nói mẹ nó rồi mà mẹ đi mình không nghe. And you know, and my sister told her the same thing months ago, and still she wouldn't listen. Rồi tư tưởng thứ ba. So the third thought says, my sister also said the same thing, told her the same thing, and she still wouldn't listen. Okay. And then the fourth thought, cái tư tưởng thứ tư, you know, I'm so sad, I think he's in big trouble. Thằng cái lượng tư nói là khổ tâm dễ sợ, chắc là không xong cái nơi rồi. Okay? That's the nature of our ignorance. We generate thought after thought after thought after thought after thought. Quý vị thấy không? Thầy mới mô tả cái cảnh giới cái vô minh của chúng ta là cứ sinh một cái vọng tưởng, xong sinh vọng tưởng trên cái vọng tưởng đó, rồi sinh vọng tưởng nữa trên cái vọng tưởng tiếp theo. Okay? This is the nature of your ignorance. Am I correct? Đây là cái cảnh giới của cái vô minh của quý vị. Can you stop after the first thought? Guys, raise your hand, please. Có ai có một vọng tưởng ngừng lại được không?
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
I don't know.
See, the second thought already. See, isn't that cool? This is, you see, this is Buddhist technology expressed. It's so precise. Thành đây là cái kỹ thuật của bên Phật giáo mình nó rõ ràng dễ sợ chuyên nghiệp. Đức Phật dạy, Đức Tổ dạy rõ ràng. Đức Phật dạy rõ ràng sợ. Một cái thôi, không thể nào cái gì nữa. Mới gọi là thánh này, mới gọi là người gọi. Hay không? Isn't it fascinating? You read it anywhere in Master Shuang's teaching? You won't find it. He doesn't explain about the state of mind. Ngài Thứ Ba không giảng những cảnh giới là okay. So it says the first thought exists with the second thought immediately. Okay. Therefore, there's no coming, no going. Isn't that beautiful how the Buddha names, chooses names for these sage state. Thì thấy Đức Phật chọn cái danh từ cho cái người, cái cảnh giới hiền thánh nhân này hay tuyệt vời vậy sao? Tới một lần thôi và không bao giờ đi. Ok, không đi, không tới không lại. Ok, so far so good. Alright, wake up. Any questions on the second stage Arhat? Ai có thắc mắc gì về cảnh giới người nhị quả A-la-hán? Yes.
Here, while I was in the kitchen, I heard you say something about the first stage Arhat being, you say, free from afflictions or certain kinds of afflictions, or he wouldn't be free from all afflictions yet, would they? Since that's
no, he's only free from he's not moved by the six dusts. That's all he can do. But he still falls things. Just because you're not free from, just because you're not afflicted by the six dusts does not mean that you don't fall sick. There's a big difference. Even the second stage, Arhat still falls things. Clearly, but only he can stop it. He says, "Ooh, no good." He realizes false thinking is no good, and he can stop it.
He wouldn't even say that. It would just disappear with him.
Yeah, it just comes up and stops. Okay. Thành ra cái người cái sơ quả A La Hán là sao? Sơ quả A La Hán là không bị lục trần, nó giết nó giàu mình. Nhưng đều người đó vẫn còn vọng tưởng chứ được. Cái nhị quả A La Hán là sinh một cái vọng tưởng đầu tiên, xong ngừng lại, không thiên tiếp. Đó mà gọi là có chi nữa. Có phước. You realize how incredibly blessed the second stage Arhat is. Only one full stop. Any other question? Ai thắc mắc gì khác không? Okay, 265. 265. Shibhuti, what do you think? Can an Anagamin have the thought, I have obtained the fruit of Anagamin? Shibhuti said, no, only one. And why? Anagamin means one who does not return. One. Who?
Master,
Yes.
the screen is
No.
not showing numbers.
It's not showing?
No.
Ooh. You have a lot of heavy obstructions.
It's called Windows Vista.
Windows Vista? Okay, let's reset it. How about now?
Nope.
No.
Oh, wait a minute.
Blank.
Computer no signal.
Yes?
Not yet.
No?
It's rebooting, I think. It's nothing, it just says no vision.
No good? Okay, well, we have some technical difficulties. Okay, we turn it off, and we turn it on. Okay, now we can't turn it on anymore. Okay. Well, does anyone have a joke or something while we're waiting with this machine to work?
Okay, okay.
You have a joke.
Yeah,
Tex has a joke. Go ahead, Tex.
okay. Penguin walks into a bar.
Ben walks in a bar,
Okay. He says to the bartender, "Has my brother been here?"
and my brother lives here. Yeah.
My
Yes.
brother been here. The bartender says, "What does he look like?"
What does he look like?
Another penguin.
Ông có nghe chuyện thầy trong lúc máy hư thầy hỏi có ai có nghe chuyện của hài thể thì ông Tex ông giơ tay nói ngay tức là còn một cái con West Penguin Vietnamese. Well, it's not meant for the Vietnamese. Sorry.
That's wrong.
Yeah. So,
That's good.
okay. Never mind. Routine, don't write down the joke. There's no need. Can you see it now?
No.
No.
Hmm?
No vision. Blue screen, the BSOD. Blue screen of death.
How come? Still blue screen? Okay, what am I? 265. We're still experiencing technical difficulties. Looks like we're not gonna. It seems like we can't move on to 265. Okay. Why don't we reset the wall?
How about we paint the wall?
There you go. Yeah. Takes a few. Okay, let's try this. Try it now. Okay, how about another joke? Yes, Tex.
Okay.
Try to better than the last one.
The last one was good.
Give us the answer.
What was the answer? That's the joke.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, John. John has a lot of jokes, especially Jewish ones.
Not today. Blind guy walks into this bar and sits at the bar and orders a drink and says, "Hey, bartender, you want to hear a dumb blonde joke?" And the 6'5", and she's a biker and she's blonde. The waitress there is 180 pounds solid muscle, and she uses kung fu, and she's blonde. And there are 2 more other bikers that are blonde too. Now think about it. You really want to tell your blonde joke? He goes, not if I have to explain it 5 times.
That's bad.
Very.
Oh.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
You can see it now.
Yes.
Ah,
The dumb
so
blonde
the
joke
joke,
worked.
the long jokes are help. I guess. Okay. 265. Shubuti, what do you think? Can an argument did we do that?
No.
None?
You only read it on your screen. We didn't see it.
Can, oh, you didn't see it? Now you
No.
see it. Okay. Shubuti, 有意言和阿罗汉能做训练我的阿罗汉，我不。须菩提也，不也，世尊何以故？阿罗汉名为不来25不来，是故名阿罗汉。Sư Bồ Đề ông ra sao? A-na-hàm có thể tác niệm ta đắc quả A-na-hàm chắn. Bồ Đề nói thưa Thế Tôn không, tại vì sao? A-na-hàm gọi là bất lai mà thật không bất lai nên gọi A-na-hàm. The Anagamin, okay, is the Sanskrit name for the third fruition of Arhatship, and it can translate into one who does not return. Okay. He is also called escaping desire because he has cut off all thought delusions within the desire realm. And therefore, he's no longer compelled to be reborn in the desire realm again. Alright? The second fruition, Sakridagamin must return once to the heavens and once amongst men before he can cut off the last 3 categories of thought delusions in the desire realm. At that point, he'll certify to the third fruition, and he'll be born, the third fruition, Arhat, will be born onto the 4th dhyana heavens, in the heavens for the first stage Arhats. Okay? And will never return to the human world. Anaham là bất lai quả, cũng gọi là xuất dục. Tại vì cái ngày Anaham á, tứ tam quả A-la-hán này đã đoạn tất cả những cái tư hoặc trong cái dục giới và không còn bị sinh vào quả dục giới này nữa. Như cái ngày nhị quả A-la-hán là phải trở lại một lần, sinh lên quả trời một lần, trở lại loài người nhân loại một lần nữa, rồi lúc đó mới có thể đoạn cái 3 cái loại tư hoặc còn lại của dục giới. Lúc đó mới chứng được cái tam quả A-la-hán. Rồi khi mà lâm chung, khi mà mạng chung, thì cái ngày tam quả A-la-hán này sẽ sinh vào cái tứ thiền tiên và sẽ không bao giờ trở về cõi người. Any questions so far? Okay. What is meant by escaping desires? Cái người này gọi là xuất dục. Okay, remember the escaping desire here. Một tên ngoài gọi là xuất dục. what is meant by escaping desire? He says that he sees no desirable state on the outside. Xúc dục nghĩa là sao? Là không thấy cái ngoài bất kiến khả dục chi cảnh, có nghĩa là không thấy gì ở ngoài cái ngoại cảnh có gì mà đáng tham. This guy here, this gentleman, this third stage arhat is very special. He gives rise to no desire whatsoever. No desire. None. Okay? Ngài nhì của A-la-hán này, nhà tam của A-la-hán này không còn cái dục vọng. What does it mean? He sees a BMW 325i. He says, no big deal. Yeah, the ultimate driving machine. And he says, no big deal. Can you imagine? It's baffling to me. Thấy chiếc xe xe Đức ngon lành như vậy mà nói là ngài tam quả hán không đau, không đau. Think about it. Thì thấy cái tự do dễ sợ an nhiên, thì thấy now so much the amount of self mastery and peace you attain. Vì thấy được cái sự an lạc, cái sự tự tại. He wants nothing. He looks at this world, he wants nothing. Nói cách khác là cái người tăng quả La Hán nhìn vào cái thế giới này không có một cái gì mà tham. Think about it. Inside of him, there's no thought, desire. Trong tâm của ngài không có một cái gì tham muốn. Okay? He is in samadhi. Ngài ở trong định. And therefore he does not produce any feeling toward the desire realm. Trong cái định của ngài không có phát sinh bất cứ một cái cảm thọ nào về cái cõi dục giới này. And therefore he is free from this desire realm. Bởi vậy ngài mới đã thoát được cái dục giới. What does it tell you? That's why it's called one who does not return. Bởi nó gọi là một cái vị mà không trở lại, bất lại. Okay. Actually, he really have no returning, because returning is basically an aim. The desire habits are forever exhausted. And he's not even attached to the mark of non-returning. Mấy cái dục vọng đó là bỏ hết, thành là không còn chấp vào cái tướng mà không trở lại luôn. Any questions about this? Okay. Any questions? Huh? No questions?
Explain it well.
What is probably not clear to you is when we explain this to you, when we explain that one who does not return because he's free from desiring to this, all the things that desire around, therefore he does not return anymore to desire around. Meaning he's free. He's no longer bound by desire around. We return to desire around because we are bound by desire. Thì biết không? Nhắc mình nói dạng nghị cái gì rõ ràng. Cái ngài gọi là bất hoàn. Tại vì ngài không trở lại thì có cái dục giới này, tại vì không có gì trong cái dục giới này để có thể cột ngài lại, khiến ngài trở lại. You remember? Because nothing attaches him to this desire realm. That's why he doesn't have to come back to satisfy his desires. Nên cái ngài tăng quả là không còn cái gì trong cõi dục giới này để cho ngài tham muốn, thành ngài không cần trở lại. In other words, The reason we came back to here, we're here today because of desire. Nói cách khác là chúng ta có mặt ngày hôm nay ở cái cõi này là chúng ta có cái tham dục, the things we desire. That's why we're still here. That's why we keep on coming back. We come back for the grandson, okay, the grandnephew. Mình trở lại để lại cho cái thằng cháu. You thought about that? This is why you're still here, because you keep on coming back for him. Any questions? Yes.
Well, this may be coming up, but what happens to the fourth stage arhats when they're in their special heaven? They just hang out there?
Not yet. We're going to get there. So what happens is that the first stage arhat, when he's still in this world, he's unmoved by anything. He has no desire for anything. I nói quý vị, this is a wonderful, wonderful state. Quý vị biết cái cảnh giới hay lắm. Ngài Tam Tọa A La Hán khi còn trong cái cảnh trong cái cõi này, ngài không tham một cái gì hết. He has no desire for anything. Không tham một cái gì hết. Alright? You see that? Because as long you have desire for anything, then you are impartial, aren't you? Tại vì nếu quý vị còn một bất cứ một dục vọng nào, quý vị là có thiên vị. Think about it, Roberta. Roberta. Okay? It's really cannot be impartial. This is why, by the way, at lunch we started talking about the translation. Remember? We talked about, oh, come in, please. Welcome. So we talked about the fact that the Chinese, when they translated the Buddhist scriptures from Sanskrit. Hi, Hans. Come in, please. Have a seat. From Sanskrit into Chinese. What they did is very interesting, because when the Chinese translated, the Chinese monks back then, a thousand years ago, when they translated the Tripitaka from Sanskrit to Chinese, they have all these monks. They put these monks in charge of it. Okay? And they produce the highest quality of work, of translation of work. Would you like to know why? I explained this during lunch today. I said that the Chinese has perfected the translation work of the Buddhist scriptures, because they are by far the most accurate, the most prolific and complete set of work for the Buddhist teachings in Chinese. Okay? The reason being that back then the emperors and the sponsors donated a lot of resources just for the translation work. They would build humongous temples. I told them that back then the front gate is so far from the main Buddha hall that in order to close it at night, someone has to ride a horse at galloping speed, go to the front gate, close the gate, and then gallop back. That's how far it was. Okay, just to take care of the front gate while they are doing translation work, and they employed so many sages, Buddhist sages. They put so many of these sages in charge of the translation work, and that's all they did. They translated. Nothing else is expected of them. It's unlike here in our temple. We do translation work, we do editing, we do website, we do cooking, we do ceremonies, we clean the toilet, we water the plants, we do everything around here. Okay. So these people, this is why back then the Chinese, they would dedicate their entire life, really their entire career, to do translation work. Okay, so they have total concentration first. The one thing that people don't pay attention to, I need to bring it out, okay, is that most of these people in charge, of the translation part, first stage of ngày xưa như vậy là cái gì các ngài ngày xưa là dịch kinh như vậy là có rất nhiều hoàng đế, người đại hộ pháp cúng dường rất nhiều tiền bạc, mấy thầy dạy sư, mấy sư với cô ấy, chỉ bỏ cuộc đời thông dịch thật nhật cần làm cái gì hết, đầy đủ. Có chùa, có đồ ăn, có cúng dường, không có thiếu thốn gì, chỉ lo phiên dịch thôi. Những chùa chúng tôi vừa phiên dịch rồi vừa nấu ăn, vừa ngọc lễ, rồi vừa quét sân này, được làm đủ thứ chuyện đó, không thể chú tâm được. Ngày xưa phải làm một việc thông dịch thôi. Đó, chuyện thứ nhất, chúng ta ủng hộ cái chuyện thông dịch. Chuyện thứ nhì, bởi vậy cái người văn cái tam tạng, cái tiếng Hoa đó, nó phong phú vậy rồi, nó rất chính xác. Còn thứ nhì, tại sao nó chính xác? Là tại vì đa số những người mà phụ trách cái việc phiên dịch là tam quả A La Hán. They're all at least third stage arhats. You know why? Are they third stage arhats? They have to be in charge. Those in charge have to be at least first stage arhats. Those in charge of translation. This is religious scriptures now. Okay? These sacred scriptures in Buddhism and Chinese. The people in charge are at least first stage arhats. Why? Tại sao những cái vị mà phụ trách cái chuyện thông dịch của cái tam tạng tiếng Hoa là ít nhất là tam quả A La Hán? You go back to the history of these translators. You see that all of them are at least first stage arhats. Why? Tại sao như vậy? Because they are free from corruption. Therefore, their work is authentic and has integrity. Bởi vì cái ngài tam quả A La Hán là không còn cái tham dục, thành cái công việc của ngài, cái tư tưởng của các ngài nó không có thể bị ô nhiễm được nữa. Think about it. Can you imagine yourself doing translation work, then someone comes to you and says, "Oh, master, I like you so much. Can you speed it up a little bit so that I can bring you to the BMW dealership and offer you a 325i? It's on sale right now." And you say, "Oh, just give me 5 minutes. I'm almost done now." And Thomas goes back to his room and he's done. So that he can go to the BMW dealership and get a brand new BMW.
Now, you got a 5 Series?
No, you got a 5 Series. No, the BMW's job, for your information, only the 3 Series are considered the perfection. The 5 is not. They're very picky.
I have no desire for one.
But you know it's third stage either.
Talk to me about stereo equipment.
Stereo equipment like helmets, yeah. Okay. So that's the point. The point is that these beings are free from desires. That's why they have the freedom to put forth the best work without being influenced by anyone. And that's why their work is so accurate, has so much integrity. You buy that? This is Chinese technique that no one else duplicated except the Chinese. Isn't it beautiful? And ever since the Japanese, the Filipinos, the Mexicans, the Americans, the Vietnamese, they all translated because they want to translate, because they want to be famous. That's why I advocate that for you to do translation work, you need to be at least third stage. Okay. Any questions about this? Do I need to translate the Vietnamese Kinh Điển or not? I do not. Cái đời xưa hay lắm, cái nền văn hóa Trung Hoa người ta có cái đặc điểm là những cái gì mà tăng ni mà hồi đó mà không dịch những kinh điển mà Đại Tạng đó, thì các ngài ít nhất là đắc tới tam quả A-la-hán. Tại sao như vậy? Tại cái vị tam quả A-la-hán không còn tham dục bất cứ cái gì trong cái dục giới này nữa. Thành ra cái tư tưởng của họ, cái hành động của họ, cái mục tiêu của họ, cái mục đích của họ là họ vì tha, họ hoàn toàn có cái sự chân thật ở trong, không thể nào bị ô nhiễm được nữa. Thành ra cái công việc của họ rất là chính xác, nó rất là thanh tịnh. Okay? So far so good. This is so Chinese. This is why you have to admire the Chinese. The subtleties like that, you know, it's funny that people don't even bring it up anymore. That, you know, even now the Chinese, they do translation work, they do explain sutras, and they would, you know, a lot of the Chinese monks and nuns, they ask Amy and she'll tell you, they want to be monks and nuns. And then they said, so what do you plan to do? He said, I'm going to go to university so that I can get a PhD in Buddhology, in Buddhism, so that I can translate, I can teach. And let me tell you, a PhD in Buddhism, the wisdom and the knowledge of PhD in Buddhism on the best university on this earth, all of them combined together, okay, comes nowhere near the wisdom of first stage Arhat, leave alone third stage Arhat. Nowhere near. Let me assure you. It's very difficult, and that's why the standards the Chinese set is so high. And nowadays, the young Chinese, they don't even understand it anymore. It takes a Vietnamese to explain it to the Chinese now. John is offended.
No, it's just in awe.
It's just in awe of the Vietnamese technology. Okay, I need to be on time because we have visitors here. So please don't distract me because I'm not free from desire from desires yet. I still can be bought. Isn't it fascinating? This is so Chinese. This is why the Chinese culture is so advanced. Routine is so advanced. It's so profound because they have so much integrity and so much accuracy. Now Amy is offended, she's not translating anymore. Okay. 270. Subhuti, what do you think? Can an Arhat have the thought, I have obtained Arhatship? Subhuti said, no, O Honored One. And why? Actually, there's no Dharma called an Arhat. O Honored One, if an Arhat had the thought, I have attained Arhatship, that would be attachment to self, to others, to living beings, and to a life. 须菩提于意云何？二罗汉能做训练，我得二罗汉。二罗汉道悟。须菩提言：悟也，世尊。何以悟？实无有法名二罗汉。世尊，若二罗汉做训练，我得二罗汉道，即为着我人chúng sanh受者。Tu Bồ Đề yêu là sao A-la-hán có thể đắc niệm ta đắc A-la-hán đạo chăng? Tu Bồ Đề nói, thưa Thế Tôn, không, tại vì sao? Thật không có pháp gọi là A-la-hán. Thưa Thế Tôn, nếu A-la-hán có niệm ta đắc A-la-hán đạo, tức là chấp ngã nhân chúng sanh thọ nhận. I'm on slide 273. Now we're approaching the last fruition of sagehood. The fourth stage Arhat. Bây giờ bàn về cái tứ quả A-la-hán, cái quả vị của thánh nhân bên nguyên thủy. Okay. It went off again. Sorry about that. Let's see if we can reset it over here. Quick one. Can you reset it? Are you resetting now?
Yeah.
You can see it now?
Not yet.
Still nothing? It's making life difficult for us today.
No vision screen.
Okay. reset the wall because that's what seems to be the problem. It's the wireless transmission that causes the problem. So we need to reset that thing, that receiver, wireless receiver there. Excuse us, the same technical difficulty we're experiencing today. It's funny how it happened today when we explained this, the four fruitions of Arhats. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
The forbidden technology. Because this technology is not available in English.
Wow.
Isn't it fascinating?
Yeah.
And they come and make it difficult for us. Why don't we just quit
Yeah.
while we're still ahead?
Okay. It's just
Because it's not responding right now. There you go. I think it's coming up. So, to summarize, the first stage Arhat is a very, very interesting state of mind. This sage here is free from any desire in this realm, in our world. He opens his eyes, opens his ears, opens his nose. Nothing would make him strike a thought of desire. That's wisdom. Okay? Hai cái vị tam quả là hai cái vị có trí huệ. Tại sao nhỉ? Bất cứ cái gì cảnh giới bên ngoài của cái dục giới này mà chúng ta ở đây không có một cái gì có thể khiến cái ngài tam quả là hai nổi tham dục. Okay? So far so good? Let me spell it out for you. Nói cho rõ ràng quý vị. We just gave you a joke, funny example in levity, that example of a BMW 3 Series convertible. Thì nói cho hai như chỉ bị đùa về chiếc xe. You know, he has even no desire for the opposite sex. Không có tham dục cái người đối tượng. Or the same sex, depending on who you are. Yeah, okay. He's not. Oh no, yes, Thomas.
It's just that I remember you as how you characterized the fourth stage, hardship.
That too.
Already the third stage.
Third stage. This third stage is free from desires in the desire realm. You see? Only in the desire realm. Okay? But, let me spell it out for you. But if a goddess comes from the other realms, he said, "Woo!" Oh baby! Because he's not free from desire from the other realms. He's still vulnerable. Isn't it fascinating? See, that's why you have to be humble. You can't say, "I'm perfect." These Arhats are very humble. They say, "Okay, I'm good so far. I'm the master of my senses in a limited way, but I'm still vulnerable to others." Isn't it kind of cute? Is it clear, Thomas? This is not clear in any explanation in Chinese and English, by the way. I'm glad you asked the question. I meant to explain it. Okay?
So let us know.
So, for the rest of us, yes. So, this is why you see, this is also difficult. You have desire realm. Desire realm meaning where we have soulful desires. We want this, we want that all day long. That's called desire realm. Okay, where we are. And then after that we have a form realm. And after that there's a formless realm. This is an extreme difficulty. That's why it's so difficult to go from third stage to fourth stage. You see that? Because from third stage to fourth stage, you need to eliminate all desires in the form realm. Next realm up, now existence. And then after that, you have to eliminate all desires in the form formless realm before you reach fourth stage arhat. It's like, oh no. So I tell you a funny story because I remember there is this cultivator who made it the third stage arhat. Okay, the Heng Shu came. He said, ha ha ha! You don't know what's so tough for you now. Now you reach first stage arhat. You won't make it fourth stage arhat. It is so difficult. So Heng Shu came. He said, he said, có cái chuyện cô này, có cái người tu tới cái tam quả la hán rồi mới thèm thật mới tới, mới cười thật thà, nói mày được tam quả la hán rồi nhưng để cái tứ quả la hán nó khó mới được, đừng có hòng mà tới được, nhiều khó dễ sợ. So and he's right because it's so much more than the third stage arhat. It's so much more difficult. That's why you reach first stage arhat is possible, but fourth stage arhat is virtually impossible for most of us because it's so difficult. Là đắc được cái tam quả la hán còn dễ, còn tứ quả la hán khó không thể tưởng, nó khó gấp bội lần, nhiều lần. Okay? Any questions about that? Yes.
I'm lost. I thought you said earlier when you made first stage arhat, you're guaranteed to go to fourth stage.
Right.
So how's it virtually impossible then?
7 more lifetimes.
Right.
It's not immediate.
No. But that means it's assured.
It's a long time, John. 7 lifetimes is a long time. You go to the heavens. You might be up there for 80,000 kalpas. How about that? 80,000 times 60 million years. Okay? Times, you're talking quadrillion, whatever number you can think of, number of years.
But if you have no desire, time is irrelevant.
Yeah, but you're talking about still is a long, long time before you escape. You're still not free. You're still not safe, John. The long time means you still are exposed. You still are suffering. To you, John is not suffering. For the sages, is suffering. They realize it's suffering. It still continues to suffer for gazillions of years, human years. That's no good. Okay?
So maybe for those guys, is first stage arhat sneak over to the Pure Land?
You can go to the Pure Land, yes. Where it's safer. And you don't realize even after the fourth stage arhat, the work has only begun. After the fourth stage arhat, it's even more difficult.
Each stage is difficult.
It is so much more difficult. The more high you get up there, it's so much more difficult to leap to the next level. It is so much more difficult. Remember, from third to fourth, it is such a leap that it takes so long. Okay, it's so difficult to achieve. And from the fourth stage arhat to enlightenment, it is even infinitely more difficult. Let me put it that way. Infinitely more difficult. Okay? Bless you. Okay? So far so good? Again, cái tứ quả La Hán là cái tam quả là không còn cái dục vọng trong cái dục giới nữa, không còn tham dục nữa. Thì tứ quả nó khác là tam quả ở chỗ là cái tứ quả là không còn dục vọng trong cái sắc giới, là cảnh giới trên nữa, xong rồi vô sắc giới nữa, không còn dục vọng nữa mới thành được tứ quả. Nó khó như vậy, cái công việc nó khó dễ sợ. Thành ra từ tam quả đến tứ quả nó rất là cực kỳ khó khăn. Rồi sau đó nữa từ tứ quả trở lên tu tiếp nữa, thì từ tứ quả mà tới giác ngộ nó còn vô tận khó khăn hơn nữa, nó khó độ như vậy, càng ngày càng cao, càng lâu dài. It takes a lot longer when you go up there, so much longer. Okay, and that's why typically people reincarnate. They go through these cycles. That's why you see the Arhats going through first, second, third, and fourth stage many lifetimes, because it takes so long to develop the blessings and the wisdom. And every time you're born like that, you're exposed. You become confused. Okay? Everyone who's born is confused. They're just like him. Look at him. He fidgets. He cries. He doesn't eat. He doesn't eat when he's supposed to. He doesn't go to school. He doesn't know his homework. You tell him what to do, and he just does the opposite. That's confusion. That's what happens to every one of us. Okay? It's a scary thing. To him, it's happiness. To us, it's confusion. Agree? And that's how the Buddhas look at us as well. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas look at us as, you guys think you're so smart. You're so confused, you're suffering, you don't even realize it. That's the analogy. Okay, going back to fourth stage, Arhat. The Arhat here is in Sanskrit, has three meanings: worthy offerings, healer of thieves, and without birth. A-la-hán có ba cái nghĩa: xứng cúng, sát tắc và vô sinh. So the Dharma, the methodology, the methods for becoming a monk is, or nun, is the actual process of going through the practice, going through the training to become a fourth stage Arhat. Thành ra nhắc lại quý vị biết, làm người xuất gia, làm người tỳ kheo ni thì ra đang được thọ những cái pháp, nên tu cái pháp để trở thành tứ quả là hán. So once you become a level person, your objective then is to become a fourth stage Arhat. No less. Thành ra cái người mà xuất gia, cái mục tiêu người ta là trở thành tứ quả là hán. It's a very lofty. It's very lofty pursuit. Thành ra cái công việc nó cực kỳ là lofty, cao thượng. Đời người xuất gia, mục tiêu của họ để thành tứ quả, thành thánh nhân. Okay? So the level people's objective is very lofty. They want to become sages. They want to have this understanding and knowledge. Okay? True knowledge that can help others. Because to me, until you reach fourth stage Arhat, you really can't help others. Thật ra nói cái gì? Cho tới khi mà trước cái tứ quả là hán cái gì? Chưa đủ cái này giúp người khác. Chưa đủ. We really don't have enough wisdom to be able to really help others. Nó có thể thực sự giúp người khác. That's a sad fact. Okay? Time is up. Yes, Joseph. It's off already?
I got off and then I see the words that are white.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
There's a clock that just flashes.
Okay. Okay, so any final questions before we end today? We come back to this slide here because there's still a lot to talk about in the fourth stage Arhat. Yes.
Well, how about a method to get to fourth stage Arhat? Just practice.
The method to make the fourth stage Arhat one lifetime?
Just practice and hope for the best.
Câu hỏi làm sao mà trở thành tứ quả A-la-hán trong một cái kiếp, một đời. Okay. It's very easy. You make sure you go to the first stage first.
Okay.
The technology has to help to bring you through the first stage. Muốn tứ quả A-la-hán phải đi qua sơ quả. Okay. But you go through first stage while paving the way towards fourth stage. You don't stop at first stage. Thành ra cái quan trọng mình phát tu là mình đi cái hướng, mình đi qua cái sơ quả để mình đang sửa soạn, mình đang soạn đường để cho tới tứ quả. It's about building a proper foundation. You ask Heinz, he'll tell you. Architecture, before you build anything, you want to make sure you have the proper foundation. Okay? Am I correct? Am I overstepping my boundaries? Okay. It's about the foundation. You need to prepare. You need to lay out the proper foundation. So the technology you get, I'm not being facetious. I'm being very factual. The technology has to be that it has to see the long range. You have to take the long range viewpoint. Okay? What I related to you earlier in the lecture, I said when I was younger, I saw this first stage Arhat. I was so excited on my final stage, Buddhist stage. I would drop everything and go with it. The problem with that kind of thinking is that I will be stopped being at first stage Arhat because that's all he knows. He cannot plan for more than that. That's not good enough. As a monk, you ask me. I just told you right now, if you're a left-home person, your goal has to be to reach fourth stage Arhat. You have to pave the way towards it. This guy only knows how to pave the way towards first stage Arhat. It's not good enough for him. If you ask me right now, I wouldn't go for it. Not right now. Okay. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So it's about you have to know the reason we explain all these things for you, so that you have the proper information when you talk to people, when you want to live home life.
400 lifetimes.
Not this lifetime, I know that. But let's say someone wants to live a home life. You need to know that this is what this Dharma is about. Okay? So when you talk to most people, and say, I want to live a home life. And this guy says, that's a good thing. I can help you. Thì cái điều biết rõ ràng cái pháp của cái người xuất gia là phải mục tiêu họ là đắc tứ quả. Sự thật là như vậy. Thành ra phải người ta hỏi có người hỏi làm sao đắc tứ quả là kiếp này thì nó phải đi qua sơ quả. Nó không phải sơ qua không phải dọn đường tới tứ quả. Thành ra lúc cái vị xuất gia đó, cái việc hỏi rõ ràng nó hỏi là tôi muốn đi xuất gia, thì cái người thầy thì nói là thì xuất gia là tốt, thì tới đây thì nuôi cho mà xuất gia, thì như vậy chưa đủ. Đối với thầy là thầy thì vẫn nghe là thầy sẽ giúp con xuất gia, đều thầy có cái đường gì để dẫn con tới tứ quả là không? You see, my standards are a lot higher nowadays since I tell you all these things. I would say, to me, for someone to tell me that I'm allowing you to live a home life, I want to hear more. I want to make sure this guy has enough knowledge to help me pave the way towards fourth stage Arhatship. I may not be able to get there this lifetime, but I want to make sure I start building the foundation for it now. Agreed? You never know.
Yeah, sure.
If you don't know how to build a foundation for fourth stage Arhatship, okay, how can you get it this lifetime? The objective is there's no guarantee in life, but you need to know enough how to lay the foundation. And you get there when you get there. It's irrelevant. You just have to lay the foundation. You must have the technologies to build the foundation. Okay? Agree?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm different nowadays. My thinking has evolved. I want to have a picture. I want to have a long-range planning. Okay? Before I commit my life to it. Because otherwise, to me, I'd rather have a wife and buy BMW and have a good time. Instead of wasting my life. Getting nowhere. Yes?
So further in this sutra, will the foundation stones be there to learn to start?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
What we do when we explain sutras to you is to help lay the foundation.
Yeah, okay.
For example, I give you an example. What we talked about today is really earth-shattering because you know the state of these sages that has not been explained before in English or Vietnamese. I guarantee you that it hasn't been explained. And you guys are so nice that you forced me to explain it to you by showing up here today. And I told you, please don't take it lightly. And I suggest this is not a commercial, because what you're doing is so beneficial, so nice for the rest of the world. For you English-speaking people, Vietnamese people, the Chinese, you don't need to learn from them. You're too smart. You're smart already. The point here is that, I love it. The Vietnamese have to explain the Chinese culture to the Chinese now.
Pretty good, man.
to the Chinese, to the Swiss, to the Americans, to the Texans, everyone else. So the Chinese are not the only ones. But the point here is that, that's the point. Huh? What was I to say? I forgot.
In the foundation of fourth stage art, actually.
Well, I'm saying that what you're doing is very, very nice, because even though I wanted, I vowed to explain the sutra, but someone has asked me to explain the sutra. So you asked me to explain the sutra earlier when you requested it on, so I have to explain it to you. Okay? But what's nice about this process is that now you make it available to others to read it, to understand about it, because it has not been explained before. These important milestones. Kindeya, how can you possibly cultivate Kindeya? And someone tells you that you need to become fourth stage Arhat, and you don't even know what a first stage Arhat is like. How do you know you're there? You don't. Someone explained to you, you got there. Okay? And it's not coming from me. This is coming from the sages. I only read the Chinese word and translate it for you and add a little bit more of Hollywood scripts and scenarios to make it interesting. Okay? But I'm not inventing anything. I'm repeating the sages' teachings. That's all. I'm just doing nothing new. Okay? I'm only adding the salt, a little bit of pepper and cilantro. That's it. Nothing new. Just spice it up a little bit. Okay? So I said earlier, I said that it's important. I'm watching the next, last week and this week and see who's coming, because you have the mind of bodhisattvas. You really are helping the process of sharing the Buddhist technology to the world. Really, the Chinese Buddhist technology to the world. It is commendable. You guys are good people. I applaud you. Really, I'm serious. In most humility, that you are, These are, trust me, folks. It's not by coincidence. It has to be from a prior desire of you to say, I want to help, bring Buddhism to others so that others can also escape suffering and painless. We all have the same common objective. Help others. Help them understand and improve their lives. Okay? Good enough?
Yeah.
Okay, so we end this weekend right now. Let's transfer to help people obtain rebirth through the Pure Land. Okay? And then we can stop. Thank you very much for coming. Okay, turn to page 38, please, of the handbook, so that we can do the rebirth transference to help the people. Today we have a Dharma assembly of 1 yin. So at the end of this thing here, we dedicate everything to help people obtain rebirth to the Pure Land. So that's why we do it. Just take 5-10 minutes to wrap it up that way.